Multiple huge returns have been announced for AEW Full Gear. Plus, AEW announces a UK debut and WWE officially retires a championship. It's all in the wrestling news right now. The cake has arrived. The pin the tail on the donkey is on the wall. The party bags are ready. Balloons are being blown up. We're getting a super kick party next Saturday, Adam Pacitti.
I was wondering where you were going with that to begin with. That's
super
right.
Super kick party.
The Elite are going to be heading back at Full Gear on last night's Dynamite. We saw a video showing photos from the lives of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and then a Full Gear-esque graphic appeared on screen, all but confirming, but it's going to happen. And I think a lot of people suspect it. Anyway, we're going to see the Elite back at Full Gear. What are they going to do, Tom?
Well, they had the six-man titles stripped off them, so I imagine they're going to come back and get a piece of the champs.
You reckon they just go straight back? And
get straight back on it? Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think unless you get them involved in some way in the main event. But then I don't know whether the main event really needs Omega and the Bucks around at the moment.
No, I don't think it does. I think it'd be a shame for them to come back and just capture the trios titles like soon. I don't want to see that. I want to see. I think there's enough stuff that's gone on, and I know it's difficult because you can't speak with the legal situation, which is ongoing. But I reckon there's enough that they could probably do, that they could do something a little bit more interesting than just going back and capturing those belts again.
I quite like the idea a while ago of them coming in. And because of these little segments they've been showing where they get like Thanos snapped out of existence, the idea of them coming back and going, hey, you tried to wipe us out of existence, we're going to wipe AEW out of existence.
Oh!
They're like internally just trying to bring the company down by hiring too many wrestlers. It was a story all along.
No, I like that. The OGs destroying what they helped build. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It could go one or two ways. That could be really good. That could be an iconic, brilliant storyline, or it could be one of the worst things that's ever happened in wrestling.
We give Tony Khan complete autonomy. Of course we knew what we were doing. We're bringing it down from within. Not the only major thing taking place at Full Gear, but we're getting a big AEW debut and a very welcome return to the ring as well, aren't we, Adam?
Correct. Saraya is going to be wrestling on the show. She revealed that she's been 100% medically cleared, and following a war of words with Britt Baker, she revealed that she's going to be making a return to the ring against DMD at the pay-per-view.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to seeing, obviously it's been 5 years since she was last in a wrestling ring. I think it's nearly 5 years to the day. I think it was December 2017 when she got injured.
Yeah.
So it's almost 5 years to the day. I'll be intrigued to see how she still goes.
I'm nervous about it,
I think there's a bit of nerves to it too.
It's fantastic for her. Wrestling is her life. It's in her blood. But there's just something about it. And I'm sure she'll be fine. Of course she'll be fine. But it was such a serious thing that happened to her. It's great that she's been cleared, but there's just a part of me which is still just like, oh. just in case. But we've seen plenty of people come back. We've seen your Edges, your Daniel Bryans, etc., come back and just be grand. And I'm sure she will too.
There'll be a few wrestling matches. There's a few wrestling matches over the years that you kind of watch through your hands a little bit.
Hello, Ric Flair's final match.
Jeez, and it nearly was his final match at least 2 occasions. But we'll probably be doing that a little bit through Saraya's match. Not only are we seeing the in-ring return of Saraya, but an AEW debut for Jeff flipping Jarrett. Close relation to Seth freaking Rollins. Jarrett returned last week, kabonging Darby Allin, and we're going to get Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, who did compete at Ric Flair's last match. Yep. In a match that was described as happening earlier this year. And they're facing Darby Allin and Jeff's old mate Sting. It's a bit of a TNA loving, with the exception of Darby Allin. It's going to be a thing that happens. Now, Jarrett's role with AEW is primarily behind the scenes, but they're going to wheel him out.
Keep it that way. You know what? I like Jarrett. Jarrett has had a sort of career resurgence, and I think a lot of fans who perhaps laughed at him because broke all the guitars, didn't draw a dime, all that stuff. I think have grown to admire and respect him. And I'm one of those. I've enjoyed what Jarrett has done, but it does nothing for me seeing him on the pay-per-view, especially when you've got such a packed roster full of people. And I know he's just one spot in a tag match, I know, it's just that. I'm not bothered.
You're going to incur the wrath of the rambunctious Jackie Orlando in the upstairs office. He's
What?
a big fan of Jeff Jarrett.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I know.
He came in last
Jarrett's
week
class.
strutting into the office. He did the Jarrett strut and went, anyone who doesn't like Jarrett can F off.
To me,
And
right?
then made a coffee and sat down and did the news.
Nobody is going to really gain anything except Jeff Jarrett for being on telly again. From this match, right? Sting and Darby Allin go over. Who cares? Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett go over. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? There's nothing really to it. Keep it short and it's fine. But man, these AEW pay-per-views are so bloody long. That's one match that I'm just not bothered about seeing. But good for Jarrett. How has he managed to swindle every wrestling company ever? He's so good at what he does.
This year, he has been on WWE.
Yep.
He's been on AEW. He's been on Impact. He's been in AAA. He's been everywhere. He's been everywhere this year. He's been everywhere this year, Jeff Jarrett has. He might not have been an Impact, but he's certainly been in a lot of places. So he's really run the gamut this year. Good for him.
And will continue to do so. He's obviously a hell of a talker behind the scenes. Some people are just really good at that. Some people are so charismatic and make you trust them. And I think Jeff Jarrett, he's got the gift of the gab, is what I'm looking for there. And fair play, get your payday, mate.
How do these other matches feel in your waters, sir? So the World Title Eliminator Tournament will conclude at AEW Full Gear. We'll keep an eye on how that one pans out. Jade Cargill's facing Nyla Rose for the TBS title. Nyla Rose stole the TBS title. She's promising to return it on Rampage. This has been a story that's been, it feels like it's gone on for roughly 7,000 years.
It does. I'm looking forward to it culminating. I'm not looking forward to it culminating. I'm not looking forward to the match.
He's looking forward to it culminating.
I'm looking forward to it being over. Yeah.
The Acclaimed face Swerve in Our Glory for the tag
that'd be brilliant
titles.
again. That was probably my favourite AEW pay-per-view match of the year. I thought it was brilliant. It was the wrong result, but they fixed that. It'll be another banger. It'll be brilliant.
The Ring of Honor titles on the line. Chris Jericho defends against Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara, and Claudio Castagnoli.
A lot of talent in there.
Banging match. AEW Interim Women's World Title. Toni Storm defends against Jamie Hayter. This has got to be Hayter's time.
Yeah, it will be. And you know what? I think that'll be a cracker of a match as well.
And Moxley defends the world title of AEW against MJF. Oh, up for that one?
Yeah, totally up for that one. And I have no idea how it's going to play out. I was imagine MJF will be leaving with the belt, but I think there'll be some really interesting storyline stuff and character development stuff, more specifically regarding MJF in that one. And I'm very excited for that.
I've heard some very delicious rumoured innuendo.
Go on.
That it could lead to William Regal binning off the Blackpool Combat Club and hanging out with MJF.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, they laid very thick Regal's thing the other week they did with him. They had a whole podcast on it on The Gentleman Villain. They've layered it so thick that I think there's a heel turn coming.
I mean, it's one of those things that, obviously MJF doesn't need a mouthpiece. That's one of his strongest parts of him is the fact that he can talk, but they would be absolutely fantastic together. I'd feel like the Blackpool Combat Club probably just sort of need Regal a little bit, don't they? A bit more than MJF. But I'd still quite like to see it.
Would you like to see AEW in the United Kingdom, Adam?
I'd love to see AEW in the United Kingdom, Tom.
Well, good job, because next year they're coming here. Very vaguely, fleetingly mentioned on commentary last night on Dynamite that AEW are coming to the UK in 2023. More details coming soon. Obviously, Tony Khan and the Khan family Khan owned Fulham FC's Craven Cottage. Seems like a good potential. It's Khan that owns Fulham, not Tony, I think.
That will sell out so quickly. I can't remember the capacity off the top of my head. Is it something like 12 to 14k or something? It's not like a massive venue, is it? That will be gone in seconds.
I think it's 18, 19
Oh, is it that? Isn't that
million?
much? Oh, right, okay. That'll be gone very, very quickly. It's really great. Obviously, we saw the success of Clash at the Castle. Yeah. Sold out. It looked like it was going to be stronger at the beginning, but I think they reached a sellout in the end, didn't they? You were there, did they?
It was, I think it was pretty. It was
a lot of people. So what was it, like a 6 million gate or something?
Was it 8 million?
8 million
gate.
I'm good with numbers
I think
today.
It was 8 million gate. But it would be the best thing to happen to Fulham since the dual carriageway. So that's exciting for them. Finalement, we finally say farewell to a WWE Championship. Officially, we can leave the memories alone.
That's right. The Universal title has been retired.
Could you imagine?
It's actually happened. The 24/7 title has been retired. 2019 to 2022, it's listed as retired on WWE.com. Obviously, we saw it thrown in the trash and all that. I think it's a real missed opportunity. I think it could have been not a great belt, but a useful belt for the company. And we saw bits of it. Like, we saw the celebrities come in, the NASCAR drivers and that marshmallow guy with the thing on his head. But actually, that, to me, that was its biggest benefit, in that you've got this thing that can bring in eyes to the product from different fan bases. And it just evolved into R-Truth having a laugh with it, Dana Brooke, all the roll-ups. It was so uninspired, and I just think it's a massive shame, because you've got like Logan Paul coming in and doing stuff, and it looks like there's probably going to be more YouTubers in the future. Jake Paul's involved. You could have been tapping into all of these YouTubers' audiences with that belt, and instead it was just this weird afterthought on TV where, you know what, I didn't know half the time who was the champion, and I didn't feel that way with the hardcore title back in the day. I knew who was the champion, and it was just apparent that WWE, they didn't care, so why should we?
Then the thing is, it got so repetitive as well that even if you didn't know the champion, if you said R-Truth, there's a 60% chance you'd been right.
And he was gold. He was really good. It suited him totally. It's not a slight on R-Truth or anything. It was just, there was no variety to it, and that whole championship should have been about variety.
Yeah, and it just got boring near the end.
It's gone. And it was ugly.
It was a minging belt. It was
ugly.
Let's be perfectly honest. Comment below with your favourite 24/7 championship match. I bet you can't even think of two. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe and love you. Bye.